some Buckeyes. I've got my Ohio State shirt on, and these are actually Buckeye nuts. So that's what this delicious dessert is based off of. I have made this pretty often since I was a kid. It's become a fun tradition every year. So what we're going to do is cream together some peanut butter. I'm using half of a jar, a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter. So we're just going to put that in there. I love peanut butter. And we're going to cream it together with some softened butter. This is a full stick of butter. Softened. All right. And we're going to add some vanilla. I wanted to show you this. This is vanilla that we made. So you can make it yourself. Also, it's pretty easy. All you need is a small bottle like this. We're just putting in a tablespoon. You need some sticks of vanilla. You can see them in there. And then brandy. And you're going to store it really tight in a cool, dry spot for about a month. And it'll be ready to use. So give that a try. It's really lovely homemade vanilla. All right, so we're just going to cream this together. Our peanut butter, and vanilla until it's all mixed together nicely. Now, the fun thing about Buckeyes is, at least for me, I don't feel like it's an exact science as far as amounts go. It's all about consistency. So I didn't measure out my powdered sugar. We're just going to slowly add it until we have a Play-Doh-like consistency that we can begin to form. You're going to use about a half of a bag. This is a 2-pound bag, so if you want to just get a 1-pound bag, that would probably work. And again, it just depends on how many Buckeyes do you want to make. Like I said, I've been making this since I was a kid. It's been a tradition to make at Christmas time, and we usually make quite a lot to give to neighbors and friends and for cookie exchanges and all that kind of stuff. So you experiment with it yourself and decide how many you want to make. So we're going to add some more. So I said I've made this. My mom actually grew up in Ohio. That's where she got the tradition from. And then my husband's family is from here in Ohio. So I had actually never lived here in Ohio, but my husband and I moved here when our almost 7-year-olds were first born. And so it's been kind of fun to be able to live here and keep up the tradition of making Buckeyes. So we're just going to keep mixing this. Still quite sticky. As you can see, I'm just kind of pouring in enough to cover it, and then we add it in. The nice thing about it is if you mess up and you add too much powdered sugar, you can always add a little bit more peanut butter and butter, and it'll be fine. Sometimes when it gets to this point, it's easier to just get your hands in there and start working with it that way. So that is what I'm going to do. Get all that deliciousness off of there. Give that one more stir through. It's kind of fun if you get your hands in here, because then you have to lick them clean afterwards, right? So we're just trying to get it to the point that it's sticks together, but doesn't stick so much to my hands. So that's, we're nearly there. This is a really fun dish that you could make with your kids because it is pretty simple. And of course, the kids are gonna love getting their hands in here and playing with it and making stuff like Play-Doh. All right, so now we're gonna take just a clump of the dough and you're gonna just roll it between your hands and form a ball about the size of a ping pong ball, I'd say. Just like so. And we're just gonna go through all of the dough and form them into balls just like that. Now there's a couple options for what to do after this. If you're short on time, you can stick them in the freezer for about an hour and then dip them, because we're going to dip them in chocolate. Or if you have more time, you can just put them in a bowl with a lid and leave them in the fridge overnight. All right, well, I'm going to finish rolling these and then I'll show you how we dip them. All right, guys, we're ready to dip our peanut butter balls in some chocolate. We have a double boiler here with the water warming up on kind of medium-low. And we're going to add some paraffin wax first. We just cut off about a 1/16. It comes in a big block like this. And you're just going to slice off how much you need. So we're just going to put that in there and let that start melting. And then we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips. And a couple of these cubes of baking chocolate. Shavings. Now, as you can see, it's starting to just all mix and melt together. The paraffin wax is for just helping it to stick to the peanut butter balls. Now we're going to do 4 bars of Hershey's chocolate. I suppose you can use whatever brand of chocolate bar that you want. Just regular chocolate bars. And I had mentioned in the video that you could chill your Buckeyes 2 different ways. Either in the fridge overnight or putting them in the freezer for at least an hour. So we went ahead and did both of those things, and the consistency of them, the feel, the texture are really about the same. I would say the freezer ones are maybe even a little bit more chilled. So I was a little surprised by that, but it's kind of fun to test that out and do both ways and see. So really, we can say with surety either way will work. So we're just going to let this melt completely, and then I'll show you the technique for how we dip them. Alright, so you're going to want to set up kind of like this with your peanut butter balls, your chocolate, and then some wax paper. You can just have it here on the counter, or if you they're going to need time to chill. So basically, if you have time to just leave them on the counter, that's fine. If you want to put them in the fridge, you might want to put the wax paper on a cookie sheet and have them like that. So you're going to take a toothpick, poke it in here, and then we're just going to stir it kind of around. So you're getting 3/4 of it covered in chocolate and the top left plain with just the peanut butter. And then you can set it over here on the wax paper. And I usually take that opportunity to just kind of push together and cover up that toothpick spot, but it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of preference for how you want it to look. So as you can see, we just kind of give it a couple swirls, and then we're going to twirl it up here to get that chocolate stopped, and then just lightly press on the peanut butter part to get it there onto the wax paper. And on it, obviously, this is just kind of a trial and error, just takes time. You might get some big globs of chocolate, woo, like that. I just hit it on the spoon. So just do your best, it's for fun, and they're going to taste delicious no matter what.